But Baalbek, if there was one example, one ancient site on Earth that is evidence of a lost, ancient, advanced civilization, and by advanced, I'm not talking about space lasers here. I'm talking about more sophisticated than what we were taught in school for the known capabilities.
Beneath the most famous Roman temple in the Middle East lies something that should not exist. Stones weighing more than 3 fully loaded jumbo jets. Precision cuts so perfect.
And Baalbek has the largest stones that were ever quarried in human history, the largest stones that were lifted, stacked, and transported in human history, and the largest stone columns in all of classical history.
That a sheet of paper cannot slide between them. Engineering so advanced that modern construction teams have openly admitted they would struggle to replicate it today. For 2,000 years, tourists have visited Baalbek in Lebanon. They photograph the towering columns of the Temple of Jupiter. They read about Roman engineering prowess. And then they leave, completely unaware that they were looking at the wrong thing the entire time. Because underneath those Roman columns, hidden in plain sight, sits a foundation that the Romans never built. A foundation that raises a question archaeologists still cannot answer. Who actually created this place? The weight of impossibility. The Bekaa Valley of Lebanon holds one of antiquity's greatest deceptions.
On the highest point of the Bekaa Valley in Lebanon, the town's origins go way back, and the ruins of the ancient parts of the settlement can be seen in many areas of the town.
Most visitors arrive at Baalbek expecting Roman ruins, and they get them. The Temple of Jupiter once stood with 54 columns, each soaring 22 meters into the sky. Only 6 remain standing today, but they are still among the tallest Roman columns ever constructed. The architecture is unmistakably imperial. Corinthian capitals, intricate friezes, massive courtyards designed to humble anyone who entered. The Romans called this place Heliopolis, the city of the sun. They poured generations of wealth and labor into making it one of the empire's most magnificent religious complexes.
Some of these were uncovered over the last 130 years, but others have been exposed since ancient times and have never been out of the public mind.
For centuries, historians credited Rome with everything here. Then engineers started asking uncomfortable questions. The foundation supporting those temples uses stones that defy explanation. 3 blocks alone, known as the trilithon, form part of the western retaining wall. Each measures roughly 19 meters long, over 4 meters high, and nearly 4 meters deep.
Baalbek that are still interesting to me. One of them is you don't see the Roman foot in those stones, which is weird. You would expect to see some sort of breakdown of the Roman foot in these measurements, but they're not there at Baalbek. They are there on the stones.
The weight? Around 800 tons each. Some estimates push closer to 1,000. Let that number settle in your mind. The largest stones in Egypt's Great Pyramid weigh about 80 tons. The trilithon blocks are 10 times heavier. The famous megaliths at Stonehenge weigh roughly 25 tons.
And we're talking, so the trilithon stones, 3 stones, 900 tons apiece, or 800 metric tons.
The Baalbek stones make them look like toys. But the trilithon is not even the most impossible part of this story. The stones they left behind. 800 meters from the temple complex sits a quarry. And in that quarry lies a stone that has haunted engineers for generations. The locals call it Hajar el-Hebla, the stone of the pregnant woman. It remains partially attached to the bedrock, abandoned mid-extraction thousands of years ago. This single block measures over 20 meters long and nearly 5 meters wide. Its estimated weight exceeds 1,000 tons. Someone cut this stone with deliberate precision. Someone shaped it for a specific architectural purpose. Someone intended to transport it across rough terrain and lift it into position alongside the trilithon. And then something stopped them. In 2014, archaeologists made a discovery that rewrote everything we thought we knew about this quarry. Buried beneath the stone of the pregnant woman, they found another megalith. This one was even larger. 1,650 tons of precisely shaped limestone waiting to be moved. A third massive stone was discovered nearby. These were not random boulders. They were construction materials, deliberately prepared by builders who possessed capabilities we cannot explain. The largest mobile crane operating today can lift roughly 1,200 tons under perfect conditions.
The Romans took over when the Roman general Pompey conquered the region. Strabo, a Roman geographer of the late 1st century BCE and early 1st century CE, described this area in detail, but he never says anything about any great structures.
The ancient builders at Baalbek were working with no hydraulic systems, no steel cables, no modern engineering. They had bronze tools at best, and yet they were preparing to move stones that would challenge our most advanced equipment. The deafening silence. The Romans were obsessed with credit. They carved inscriptions on everything. They documented their achievements in exhaustive detail. They made absolutely certain that future generations would know who built what and when. The Colosseum has its history recorded down to the specific emperors who commissioned and completed it. The Pantheon carries Hadrian's legacy in stone. Roman engineering pride was legendary. So, where are the records for the Baalbek Foundation? There are Roman inscriptions at the site, plenty of them, but they reference the temples above, not the megalithic platform beneath. No emperor claims credit for moving the trilithon. No engineer's name appears. No contemporary historian mentions the extraordinary feat of positioning stones weighing 1,000 tons. Pliny the Elder wrote extensively about Roman engineering marvels. He never mentions Baalbek's megaliths. Vitruvius documented construction techniques in minute detail. He never describes anything approaching this scale. This silence is not a gap in the historical record, it is evidence. The Romans documented everything they built.
A Roman unit of measurement that they would use in construction. And we don't see it in those stones in the trilithon, but there's 3 stones that were quarried and left in the ground.
Everything, unless they did not build it at all. 2 different hands. When you examine the construction at Baalbek closely, you start to notice something strange. The Roman structures above use standard-sized blocks. The techniques match what we see at other Roman sites across the empire. The tool marks are consistent with Roman quarrying methods, characteristic patterns from chisels and picks. The foundation stones tell a different story entirely. The tool marks do not match Roman techniques. The surfaces are smooth in ways that suggest abrasive cutting, or methods we do not associate with ancient Roman quarrying. The blocks interlock using a technique that requires each stone to be cut with almost impossible accuracy. The joints between the megaliths are so tight you cannot fit paper between them. No mortar, no filler, just stone meeting stone with millimeter precision. And then there is the engineering philosophy. The Roman temples were designed to impress. Decorated, proportioned for visual impact, built to showcase imperial power. The megalithic foundation beneath them has no decoration whatsoever, no inscriptions, no aesthetic considerations, just pure function, massive stones fitted together for one purpose alone, to create a platform that would last forever. These are not the same builders. These are 2 completely different civilizations, separated by something we cannot yet measure. What survives? Lebanon sits on a seismically active fault line. Multiple devastating earthquakes have struck the region over the millennia.
To me, that the ones that were installed were not built by the Romans, but the ones that were quarried were made by the Romans. They were trying to quarry out stones to match it.
The Roman columns above have toppled repeatedly. Of the original 54 columns at the Temple of Jupiter, only 6 remain standing. The megalithic foundation has not moved. Not one of those massive stones has shifted, cracked, or failed. Modern analysis has revealed that the way the blocks interlock actually makes the structure more stable during earthquakes. The foundation allows subtle movement without collapse. A principle of seismic engineering that we typically associate with modern construction. Whoever built this foundation understood something profound about building for eternity. Ground-penetrating radar has recently revealed additional structures beneath the visible stones. The platform goes deeper than archaeologists previously believed. There may be more megalithic construction hidden underground, waiting to be discovered. What else is buried at Baalbek? The uncomfortable truth. Human habitation at Baalbek dates back at least 9,000 years. That is 7 millennia before the first Roman soldier ever set foot in Lebanon. The Phoenicians called this place Baalbek, the city of Baal. The Greeks associated it with sun worship. The Romans absorbed the site into their religious traditions. But none of these cultures, as far as we know,
Describing the area during the Iron Age make no mention of Baalbek. The Assyrians ruled over this area for a time.
possess the technology to move 1,000-ton stones. So we are left with possibilities that challenge everything we think we understand about the ancient world. Perhaps the Romans had engineering capabilities that far exceeded anything they demonstrated elsewhere in their empire. Capabilities they mysteriously never mentioned and never replicated. Perhaps the Phoenicians achieved something extraordinary that left no trace in their other constructions. Perhaps an earlier civilization, one we have lost to history, possessed knowledge we have yet to rediscover. The honest answer is that nobody knows. What we know for certain is this. At Baalbek, beneath temples that have been studied for centuries, sits the most impressive stone construction ever achieved by human hands. Stones quarried with precision, transported across difficult terrain, lifted 7 meters into the air, and positioned so perfectly that the joints remain invisible after thousands of years. Modern engineers with unlimited budgets and our most powerful equipment would struggle to replicate this. Someone did it with tools that should not have been capable of the task. The greatest trick at Baalbek is not how they moved the stones. It is how they convinced the entire world to stare at the Roman columns above while ignoring the impossible foundation beneath. This is not myth. This is not legend. You can travel to Lebanon tomorrow.
Baalbek definitely existed at that time, but it may have been so minor that it didn't merit mentioning. Same thing during the time of Babylonian, Persian, and Greek Hellenistic rule.
You can touch these stones with your own hands. You can stand beneath the trilithon and feel the weight of a mystery that has no comfortable answers. Something extraordinary happened in this valley. Someone possessed knowledge we have lost. And until we understand who they were, until we understand what they knew, the foundation beneath Baalbek will remain exactly what it has always been. A monument to everything we still do not know about our own past.